Enable mouse. Good morning. Excuse me. The the stream didn't start out too good when I told told Microsoft Flight Simulator to get into VR mode. It decided it was gonna crash the desktop. so that wasn't going too well. Let me take a look here. See what I can see. Something doesn't look good. For some reason, doesn't look like I'm streaming. You finally catch up with me? Oh yeah. Everything's so delayed, it's a little hard to tell. Yeah, okay. Yep, I guess we're okay. So sooner or later I'm gonna get to the place I'm looking at right now. Because the stream's about probably 10 or 15 seconds delayed, something like that. Yeah. I think we're okay. Yep, there we go. Okay. Yeah, I had to wait probably 10 or 15 seconds for it to, for me to actually see it in the sim. So, alrighty. What are we doing today? We're just doing more testing. When I got in the cockpit here and all my OVR toolkit windows were someplace else. Well, they were just away from here because I've been using the this Vive Pro 2, and I've been using my HP Reverb G2. They are the headsets are completely different, so that all the windows that are placed in the VR cockpit won't be in the same place. so I had to like. So what you got to do is you got to like take your controller here. Hello. Yeah, for some reason that ain't working. Not sure why. There it is, that one. For some reason it doesn't want to grab that one. Yeah. Okay, so the blue thing doesn't show up, but I can move this around. So where it was is up in the sky here. It's probably 10 feet away from my yeah, probably 10 feet away. The cool thing is you can just point your VR controller at it and just squeeze the grip on this on the valve index controllers. Just squeeze the grip. So when I squeeze the grip here, it says keep holding to move, and so I can move this wherever I want. Well, that's what I had to do on every window here on my OVR toolkit windows. Okay, so I fixed a couple of issues that I had where because I'm in Microsoft Flight Simulator and it likes to take the mouse away from me, I had to come up with a solution. So I absolutely did, and I just come up with it this morning. So the one thing I want to do is right first is let me go to my desktop. So desktop. Hello. So what I wanted to show was over here, desktop mouse. So that's a command that I added. So it allows me to click on this. Hello. On work. And I click on settings. So I'm using a Vive Pro 2. And because we have to use this console software. So display settings. So I have it set for Ultra. So 4896 times by 2448. So you would think if you set it there that my default resolution would be 2448. Nah, that's not true. So let's, we'll close this because that's all I needed to show. Come on. And then I'm going to go into Steam. Hello, come on. Play with me. Well, we'll do it this way. So, so my resolution per eye coming, being given the Steam, yeah, the initial resolution is 3328. So every time I start up my Vive Pro 2, this number may be different. What I've learned is if I start it up with an empty desktop, then I will always get this number. Always. There's no moving around. If I have something running, that may not be true. Example, if I have Microsoft Flight Simulator running, that number there will be about 1200. Let me tell you, 1200, and say your next one is 100%, you won't read a gauge in a cockpit. You just will not read a gauge. So I've come up with this procedure to allow me to reliably get this number. I've with a clean desktop on my system, I've yet to not have that number. So we go to video and per application. So this is for Microsoft Flight Simulator. I have it set for 50%. So I'm taking 50% of that 3328, I think it was. So I'm taking 50% of that, and this is what I'm going to feed into Microsoft Flight Simulator. So that's the resolution that if you have the VR scale, if you have that set to 100%, these are the numbers you're going to see in Microsoft Flight Simulator. Close. And go back to the desktop. I don't have anything open, so anything more open than what I had. So we'll return to the game. So I'm back in the cockpit. So what does all this mean? It means streaming in VR is seriously involved, but I enjoy it, and I'm trying my darndest to figure out how to stream Microsoft Flight Simulator with the hardware that I have. This is the there's no doubt in my mind. People can say whatever they want. I don't care. This is the sharpest headset I've ever put on my head. Did I have to do some work to make that happen? Sure. But like having a really beefy computer. But what does that mean to you? So with that kind of resolution, so what am I getting? So you can see here that the SteamVR super sampling is set at 50%. Even at 50%, so my frame time is, we'll call it 27. That's between 25 and 30. It wanders around. The frames they're pretty much, I've been running what, 13 minutes, and my average is 29 frames. Okay, 29, 30, let's say 30 frames. I'll be kind. And I'm not dropping a ton of frames. Yesterday, or day before, can't remember now, I was trying to run the HP Reverb G2 on SteamVR. In a 1 hour session, I bet you I easily dropped 30,000 frames. The funny part is that my frames per second average was about 45. So you kind of go like, how can you have a frame per second of 45 and you dropped that many frames? That made no sense. Because it was 45, my average GPU frame time was probably around 20, 22, somewhere around there. So the fact it was dropping all them frames just made no sense. And but what I don't know is, because I was dropping that many frames, and I did a stream on it, was it affecting basically the flight model in the sim? And I had some really odd things going on towards the end of the stream, but I don't know if it was related to that or not. That's why we're testing today. But I want to test it in the beefier headset, and because after I'm done doing this, probably tomorrow, maybe the next day, don't know yet, but I'm going to do exactly the same thing in X-Plane. And I want to demonstrate the difference in performance of those two flight simulators. It is dramatic. And so how am I testing that? So I'm using a Microsoft Flight Simulator, the default scenery, so that you have the you know, the 3D stuff, and you know, so the graphics is better. All that stuff is true. There's no doubt about it. But when I test in X-Plane, I'm using Orbix True Earth Great Britain. So as far as I'm concerned, the graphical load on my computer should be similar. Maybe not the same, but should be similar. So what I'm trying to discount is the fact that well, X-Plane doesn't have to work as hard because it doesn't have as good a graphics. I'm trying to discount that and basically just discount it. So that's not a talking point. I'm just raw. How well does a simulator interact with VR on a very high-end headset with a high-end computer? And I'm running an i9 11900K at about 5 gig, 64 gigs of RAM, and an RTX 3090. This is high-end stuff. And if I'm struggling to get VR working in this sim, then maybe for me, I'm just not going to be streaming VR in Microsoft Flight Simulator until I can get some until I can see some improvement personally. Not what some reviewers said. No. This is what I experienced. And that's why I'm doing all this with tools. I'm not saying, well, it looks smoother to me. I want defined numbers. You know, that frame time is a defined number. How long does it take to render a frame? If it takes too long, you won't have a smooth performance. At least that's how I've experienced VR in my time with it. Okay, one last thing, and then I'll try to get this plane started and start having fun. Escape. So we'll go to general options. So my render scaling is 100%. And as you can see, exactly what I said. The per application is exactly this number. So what does this mean? So what it means is that I'm a little bit under the native resolution of my headset. My headset is 2448. So I'm about 100 pixels per side below what the native resolution of this headset is. So you would think that I would have like some barrel distortion, so the rendering would be bad. In other words, in the cockpit, when you're not giving it enough resolution, when you're in the cockpit, like the numbers on the gauges would be difficult to read. I'm not experiencing that. So let's go down the line. So TAA, of course, and I'm not running really ridiculous stuff. So high, high, medium. So these two level of terrain level of details are both at 100. Could I run them higher? Maybe. I'm just trying to find a starting point. So medium, volumetric clouds, medium, high. So I'm not trying to be too crazy here, you know. I'm just trying to be kind of in the middle. And glass cockpit, bloom off, light shafts. Okay. So that's kind of like where I'm at. And so we'll go back. Oh, back in the cockpit. To my point about the resolution, these, like I said, this is the crispest. Let me rephrase this. In Microsoft Flight Simulator, this is the crispest cockpit that I have experienced with this headset. In my HP Reverb G2, it is not. It does not look as good as this does. So even not even getting to native, these numbers are much more readable, and we'll kind of demonstrate that in just a minute here once I get going. So let's get the plane started. So fuel valve, master battery, magneto start, master alternator, avionics on, beacon light, taxi light.
Cessna November 256 Bravo Golf requesting pushback.
Stop pushback.
November 256 Bravo Golf pushback request accepted.
So we'll demonstrate a bug. Bad one. HTC. So when I said HTC, I basically have an HTC window in both of my eyes, right in front of my headset. This is kind of like pretty disconcerting. HTC. So it goes away. Stop pushback. I thought you heard me the first time. So how do I resolve that? VR toolbar. You go over here, this cog guy, click on it, reset panels. Got no idea why the cockpit moved, but it did. That's lovely. I have to reset myself. Alrighty, so move forward, move forward, move forward, move forward. The other thing I'm looking at is that this toolbar is in the same place to my headset. So the cockpit itself is coming closer to me, but that toolbar isn't moving. So, alrighty, HTC. HTC. VR toolbar. So when I had to say it twice, it's because I didn't stop talking. It has nothing to do with voice attack. Voice attack actually works quite well. Let me check something. Okay. I'm just checking to make sure my microphone's in the right place, so I will sound correct. So if you, and I bet you can't see this on the stream, but all around every one of them boxes is jagged lines. This is with software update 5, HotFix 2. I think it actually started with software update 5. So basically they, how should I put this? In VR, they seemingly kind of broke the anti-aliasing. It doesn't do as good a job as it did before, because before you wouldn't, those lines would be pretty straight. You wouldn't see the jags, and like I said on the stream, that's probably not too easy to see, but there's absolutely that's like a sawtooth all the way across. Real fine sawtooth, but that is a sawtooth all the way across, all the way around that box. That's a sawtooth all the way around. don't necessarily see it in the lettering. I just don't. The lettering's got some weirdness going on, but it's not that. So, so we got the plane running. Haven't quite got it warmed up yet. So, let's want to test something. Yeah, that's about okay. I think the sim seems a little quiet. Because I was using the HP Reverb earlier, I had to turn the in-game sim up to for it to kind of be right in my headset. So that particular volume I may not have quite correct yet. So, alrighty, let's see if I can get permission to taxi. Set 3. Set 2.
Cranfield Ground, Cessna November 256 Bravo Golf with Yankee request taxi to the active touch and go. Cessna November 256 Bravo Golf, Cranfield Ground Airport is currently IFR. Request denied.
Oops. Okay. So, changing plans. VR toolbar. VR toolbar. Let's fix. Hi Iowa, how are you? Give me a minute. Oh, I got the weather right in my face. I gotta fix it. So, it kind of explains the problem with software update 5. Every one of these in VR, you've got to do this to. The stupidest thing I've ever seen in my life. So I got to hit reset panel. All right. So when I set reset panel, then the HTC window went away. That's cool. So let me click on weather. Alrighty. No, I don't really want clear skies. Let me do scattered. What's the ground level? Let me move that up a little bit. Yeah. Do the bottom of 5600. That should be okay. See if I can just get rid of it this way. Alrighty, back to HTC. Yeah, so the fact I had to reset the panel for the weather, then it closed the HTC, and then it put it. Nice weather. VR toolbar. All right. So so when so you have to reset the panels, and when you do that, then it basically closed the HTC. So when I opened it back up, it wasn't where I left it, which is also kind of stupid. If you're in VR, wherever you left the window, you would think that should it should go back to that position, but it didn't. So we'll try this again. Set 2.
Cranfield Ground, Cessna November 256 Bravo Golf with Yankee request taxi for takeoff touch and go. Cessna November 256 Bravo Golf, taxi to and hold short of runway 21 via taxiway Alpha. Contact tower on 1 tree 4.9er tree when ready.
Set 1.
Taxi to and hold short runway 21 via taxiway Alpha Cessna 6 Bravo Golf.
Alrighty. Parking brake. can't turn that sharp. I'll try to go around him. That's different. I wonder why. Yesterday or the day before, when I was... Is it because the sun is blocked? Really? Yesterday or the day before, when I was taxiing out here, these blue arrows had shadows. The shadows aren't here today. I'm not sure why. I'm really not sure why. I mean, there hasn't been a sim update, so is it legitimately that the sun isn't overhead, so they're not casting a shadow? That's kind of hard to believe. I mean, I have it set for what, few clouds. I don't think I have it scattered. I think I have it on few clouds. So you would think that there's still the sun's still in the sky. Huh. That's kind of crazy, but hey, it is what it is. So like I said, in this headset, it is crisp, no doubt about it. And the example. So I just basically turn my head over to the right, and I can see on the 530 here, I can see that the distance says 2.6. I didn't have to lean in. I just turned my head, and I saw that. On the G2, I think I would have to lean in a little bit to see that. I'm not sure, but I just know that this is all the numbers and everything in here is much crisper, no doubt about it. So. Yep. So we got some popping going on. So cool. So we got some popping going on. So you've heard about the scenery popping in and out. Well, it's on the airports too. So if you look over there, it's not clear to me. You know, there's a sign over there that's got red and yellow. I'm not close enough to actually read it. That sign wasn't there 10 feet before. As I got closer to it, that sign popped in. That's not far away. That's the level of detail, and I think they call it culling. So basically, if you're not looking at it, it's not there. Now, once it's there, if I look away from there and then look back, it seems to stay there. But as you're coming up on it, all of a sudden you can see it pop up. It's even funnier. On some of them, like say the red one, that'll show up and there'll be no text on the yellow part. And you get a little bit closer and then the yellow has text on it. Craziest thing I've ever seen. Why do you do that? Well, you do that to increase frames. But let me tell you, that's about, how should I put that nicely? I call it cheating, quite frankly. That's cheating. That's not how you fix performance. You make your code more efficient. So just something I saw. Enough power here to get moving again. Yeah, I mean it is. It's not good. Yeah, those up there, they just popped in. The one on the right popped in. Yep, and then the text just showed up. That text just showed up on the right. On the left showed up first, on the right showed up because it's further away. How much wind I gotta play with? Oh, not too bad. Hopefully we'll be okay. That just showed up. That sign there for the runway, that just showed up. The text, it was just a blob, and that text just showed up. That's how I see it. Trust me, I follow the forums a lot, and I hear people going, no, they didn't. It's better. I'm kind of like, do you fly in VR? It may be better on a 4K monitor. It might be, but it's certainly in my VR headset. No, it's not. I know what I saw. The advantage that I have is that because I stream, I document it. So, and that's the other thing. I mean, I've documented that there was shadows on these arrows, and there isn't right now. So I'm trying to figure out how that could have got changed. Well, we'll see if I can get permission here. Set 1. Set 1. Set 3.
Cranfield Tower Cessna November 256 Bravo Golf at runway 21 ready for departure, touch and go.
Cessna November 256 Bravo Golf altimeter 29.9er 2 wind 272 with 8. Last touch and go approved. Cleared for takeoff runway 21.
Set 1.
Cleared for takeoff runway 21 Cessna 6 Bravo Golf.
You can see the anti-aliasing going on right on the runway here. You can just see it just shimmers. And that's what anti-aliasing is. This white stuff, it just shimmers. The other thing is the size of these things. These things are huge. You can absolutely see them, but they're just way too big. Alrighty, we'll give it some power and see if we can get off the ground here. Nav light, landing light, taxi light. Come on, get going. Off the ground we go. Yeah, now look at the size of this airport thing. That's too crazy. I'm actually gonna fly right through it. Oh, that is just too crazy. Alrighty, I got a little problem here. I don't know why. I thought I had this fixed. There we go. I'm trying to get this thing to climb. Not sure why it's not. There we go. Alrighty. Go ahead and make our turn here. Get ready to pull back on the power here. We get up to pattern. Pattern right here at this airport should be around 1400. Trying to do a standard right turn here. Oop, there we go. So once I stop my turn, then I climb a lot quicker, so pull the power back. Look back at the airport, okay. Go ahead and turn on downwind. It's a little bit too much in airspeed. I pulled back on the yoke just a little bit. The other thing that's a little crazy is the, for some reason, the trim wheel now, whenever I turn it, I hear it clicks. I don't know why I hear clicks, but I hear clicks in the cockpit. Like if I, yeah. I don't know if you can hear that. Yeah, it's kind of bizarre. It's kind of delayed, actually. I move it, it's an Axis, because it's a SADC turn wheel. And so it's almost a little delayed. It's kind of weird. I don't know what that's supposed to mean. Alrighty. So, looks like altitude looks good. Airspeed looks great. Power looks about where I want it. So, there's the threshold. Flaps down. So we're looking to be about 45 degrees from that runway. I'm a little bit wide of it right now.
Cessna 6 Bravo Golf, wind 272 at 8. Clear touch and go left traffic, runway 21.
Set 1.
Clear touch and go runway 21 Cessna 6 Bravo Golf.
Flaps down. So we have 2 notches of flaps. Kind of looking for the runway here. About 70, running about 70 knots airspeed. I'll try to shove this guy up a little bit. Yeah, I need to fix my chat window. I normally have it where it's translucent, but looks like it's solid, so, but that's okay, I'll work through it. It's not a big deal. You got a VR headset, you can look around things. Alrighty, looking like a pretty good approach, actually. A little high, but that's okay. That's what the middle marker. I gained a little bit of airspeed here that I didn't want to. I'm trying to feed back the power. Flaps down. Flaps down. There we go. A little quick over the threshold. Flaps up. Flaps up. Flaps up. I intentionally tried to stay on the runway a little longer. What I was trying to look at is in the headset, did the runway coming towards me look reasonably smooth? And I would say it did. Now, that doesn't mean it's smooth in the stream, no. but is it smooth in the headset? And that's kind of what's important to me. So, because if it's not, if it's kind of jittery, you know, then it makes trying to adjust for a landing just all that much more difficult. So we're climbing out at about 75 knots, so that's probably a pretty good place. We're 500 feet above the ground now, so we'll go ahead and make our turn. get my hand on the throttle to basically pull it back when I get to the pattern altitude. So I'm just watching the airspeed. As the airspeed starts to get close to outside of the white arc, I'll just pull up on the yoke just a little bit to kind of prevent that as I'm watching the altitude gain. So now that we are at pattern altitude, excuse me, I pulled it back to 2,000 RPM. And I basically overturned. I was watching that a little bit too much, maybe a lot too much, and I basically overturned. So I'm going to turn back a little bit, get back where I belong. This is where I belong. I'm too far away from the airport right now, but I will correct. I wasn't doing a proper scan. I was focused on one task and one task only when I should have been focusing on about 4. Alrighty. So now we're square with the runway, but if you look, you can see that runway is not in the middle of that spar. The runway is in probably the upper. Wow, it's up quite a way. So I'm quite a ways away from the airport. So I will have to make that kind of adjustment when I turn in here. So go back on the power a little bit. Up on the yoke. Flaps down. Set 1. I'm also too low. So when I make my turn here, I'm going to try to stay level, not descend, until I get quite a bit closer to the runway. And because my airspeed's dropping, I'm going to have to feed in a little more power to kind of make this maneuver work. Because I could see I was doing what I wanted. I was level flight, but I was watching my airspeed drop, so it's kind of like, oh, whoops, no, give it a little more power. I got to get over here close to the runway at around 70 knots or so, and be about 500 feet above the runway. So it's all in a matter of if you've made a mistake in your pattern, flaps down. It's all in a matter of before you get too far down on your final to make your corrections. We're good. I'm probably too high now. Certainly have too much airspeed. I'll feather the power back out. Too much airspeed. So I think I'll pull it back to 1500 and see how I make out. Have to be less. Flaps down. Over the threshold with way too much airspeed. I think I bounced. Yes, I did. Flaps up. Too much airspeed. Flaps up. Flaps up. Up we go. Yeah, way too much airspeed. I think I come over the threshold at 80 knots. That's way too much. You have a long enough runway you can get rid of it, but it's just not correct. Few too many mistakes in that circuit. Alrighty, 500 feet above the ground to make our turn. Hopefully this time I pay more attention than I did the last time. So my heading bug here should be over on the right hand side here, where that little green pointer is, right there. So straighten it up, leave the power in about where it is. Watch the plane climb. And start pulling the power back. Runway's behind me, turn on the downwind. Should be at around 2,000 RPM right now. I was at 2,200, that was too much airspeed. Okay. So now I should be in a better place. We'll see. Gotta get down here a little bit. Yep. So I'm closer to the middle. I'm still too far away, but I'm closer to the middle of that of the strut there, and so that's way better. That's way better. I'm a little bit low, not a lot, just 100 feet, 200 feet, 100 feet. So I'm in the white arc. I can flaps down. Flaps down.
Cessna 6 Bravo Golf, wind 272 at 8. Clear touch and burlesque traffic, runway 21.
Shut one.
Cleared for touch and go runway 21 Cessna 6 Bravo Golf.
Flaps down. Whoops. Flaps up. Flaps up. Flaps down. That's better. Flaps up. Flaps up. Flaps up. rotate. So with this headset, excuse me, with this headset in 55 minutes, I only had 50 drop frames. I got no idea what's going on with that HP reverb on SteamVR. No idea whatsoever. Something's wrong. I don't know what it is. This is on SteamVR too. My frames per second are lower by 15 frames. My HP Reverb G2, I would get 45 frames per second. This I'm getting 30, but I'm not getting drop frames. Or I'm not getting enough drop frames to be of concern. But something's up. I don't know what that is. The fact that this headset is clear, to me, that I think this is gonna be my daily driver. Before I actually started this stream, I personally was afraid that I just couldn't stream Microsoft Flight Simulator. I was really worried, but I'll have to look at the VOD. But I think this is doable. Now X-Plane is way easier. The performance, it's night and day. On X-Plane right now, I'd be about 45 frames. That's about where I would be in X-Plane. Same headset. Same headset, same airport. So, yeah, well, me too. See what I have to do, it's real simple. What I have to do, give me a minute.
Cessna 6 Bravo Golf, wind 272 at 8. Clear touch and go left, traffic, runway 21.
Set 1.
Clear touch and go runway 21 Cessna 6 Bravo Golf.
Flaps down. I have to prove to myself that this is true, because my girlfriend's grandson will be gifted the G2. So, but I don't want to be gifted it if I have to take it back. Flaps down. Flaps down. So I have to be real sure. So it may take me some time before I can actually make that call, and that's why I'm going back and forth with them. I won't even the G2. I won't even use it on X-Plane. Nah. Now this one's too nice. And it may be relevant that that I'm trying to run the G2 on SteamVR. It may be completely relevant to that, where if you're running it in Windows Mixed Reality, you're not trying to get SteamVR overlays to work with it. It may be a completely different animal. That's a possibility, but that doesn't work for what I want to do. So, and it's kind of why I bought this one. It's for that reason. I just looked at it and went, higher resolution, native SteamVR. Oh, cool. We'll try this. And then once it started being released, it was like, oh man, everybody's putting this thing down. It's just kind of crazy. Flaps down. Flaps down. So So I had to make these determinations myself because the most of the reviewers really despise this thing. Perfect. Flaps up. Flaps up. Flaps up. And that's why in the Twitch description, that's why I say modded. this is modded. Whoa! This is a heavily modded headset to kind of get the to get close to the comfort level of the HP Reverb G2. But I'm there. I am absolutely there. I'm good. I could easily stream for. I think I could stream for 3 hours and wouldn't have a problem with it. So when I first put it on my headset, on my head, I had it on for half an hour and I wanted to take it off. I was like, oh my God. But part of what it was heat. Those screens really generate heat. So, so what do you do to fix that? Put a fan on it and suck the heat out. So that's what I've done. It works great. It really does. Was worried that I would hear the fans. Now, I hear the engine of the airplane. I don't hear the fans, so it's irrelevant. But it looks pretty weird, but that's okay. I've been modding stuff pretty much my life, so it's not that unusual for me. So, but it does make it. It improves the comfort a lot. So I've got a Studioform comfort mod for it, and basically it's like a balancer. So there's some weight on the back that kind of balances the weight of the screens. So it's not as front heavy. Whoops. And then there's a strap that goes across the top that basically makes it kind of more like a hat than a, you know. So I don't have to tighten the back part real tight to get it correct, because no doubt the sweet spot in this headset is pretty small. But with that mod, it allows you to just put the headset on, and just the way it works, your eyes are in the sweet spot. You don't have to do, you don't have to like, I don't adjust it anymore. I put it on, and it is clear. So that makes a huge difference. So that's Bill's take on headsets. Flaps down.
Cessna 6 Bravo Golf, wind 272 at 8. Clear touch and go left, traffic, runway 21.
Set 1.
Cleared for touch and go runway 21 Cessna 6 Bravo Golf.
Flaps down. Because what I'm really waiting for the day is that when I can put X-Plane Next Generation up against Microsoft Flight Simulator head-to-head and a Vive Pro 2. I'm waiting for that day. That'll be fun. So it sounds like the latest it'll be will be for Flight Sim Expo. Sounds like Austin kind of told the boys he wants a beta by Flight Sim Expo. I'm like, bring it on. So this will be fun. And the fact that I can bring it to viewers live, oh, that'll be so much fun. Absolutely so much fun. Because I already know the performance of X-Plane 11. I ain't expecting it to be any less. Flaps down. Oh yeah. Nah, I'm good. Because when Austin talks about performance, he's talking about the code being more efficient. You don't degrade graphics, you make the code more efficient. That's how you get performance. Flaps up. Degrading graphics is cheating. Flaps up. Flaps up. Because if I understood the interview with Austin, volumetric clouds are coming, and he's already testing that. So he's testing it already. So and Austin flies in real life, in real airplanes, high performance airplanes, and he knows what he wants, and I'm just pretty hopeful that his X-Plane team will deliver. Both him and the team will deliver. And from experience, being with X-Plane like you have been, Iowa, you've been with X-Plane for a while. It won't be a year for X-Plane next generation to be ready. It won't be a year. There is no way it'll be that long. No way at all. They don't work on those kind of timetables. Yeah. The streaming scenery, not gonna happen. Austin made that real clear. Not gonna happen. So what do you do instead? So basically, instead, you basically tell your 3D artist, create objects, lots of them, really good objects, and then you use OpenStreetMaps. You use that to place them. So will it be photogrammetry? I think is the right term. No. Flaps down. Flaps down. Set one.
Cleared for touch and go runway 21 Cessna 6 Bravo Golf.
Yeah. He's real clear about that. And what does that give you? Well, the one thing it gives you is consistency. So we'll say the graphics is being streamed into my computer. Flaps. Let's say something happens to it. It gets laggy. So the experience will get laggy. So your experience day to day, minute to minute, hour to hour can be dramatically different. If you're doing it how Austin wants to do it, that won't be true. The experience will be consistent. And to me, in a simulator, that's the most important part. I want a consistent experience. I don't want one day I get 30 frames, the next day I get 50 frames, just because of how the data showed up. No, I don't want that. I want it consistent. So I'm good. I'm good with that decision. So And it'll make them so different, you know, that will be just so different, you know. These are two different approaches on a high-end sim. Which one works the best? Flaps down. Flaps up. Flaps up. Flaps up. Whoops. Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, it's why it's like every time you start up, you know, it's kind of like how's it gonna go today, you know? I mean, and as you see, there's like a lot of people around me today, and I have, so you can see I have all the name tags on, so I'm flying with all these people, so that has some impact, you know. But I kind of enjoy the fact of being not necessarily being alone in the sky, and that is something that I really hope, you know, that X-Plane, because they have multiplayer in their mobile, that they can bring that to the desktop, and I'm really hoping that they have that kind of experience where you don't have to be on a network. You can just kind of enjoy a group flight. That would be just awesome. So. Oh yeah, oh absolutely. I've had some better ones than that. I had when was that? Yesterday? Day before. I had to crash the desktop on Final. That in VR, that is priceless. Kind of like all of a sudden you got a black screen. You're kind of like, uh-oh. I'm pretty sure I know what happened here. So let me pull the power back a little bit there. The other thing that happens in the G2 is the G2 has a flashlight mode. So when you turn the flashlight on, what basically it is, it's a way where you can see, like, it basically turns the cameras on, so you can actually see like your desk or whatever. I've had that happen at least twice on Final. It's kind of, when it first happened, I couldn't figure out how to turn it off. Then I remembered the command was flashlight off, and it really, like, it's serious distraction. But actually today, I mean, I'm pretty happy. It's the sim and in my headset and the computer is seemingly behaving fairly well. Flaps down.
Cessna 6 Bravo Golf, wind 272 at 8. Clear touch and go left, traffic, runway 21.
Set one.
Clear touch and go runway 21 Cessna 6 Bravo Golf.
Flaps down. Yeah, because actually the Orbix tour scenery for this area is actually pretty nice. It's not, quite frankly, it's not a lot different. The textures and stuff are just subtly different. They're different, but it's not dramatically different. Most of the trees and stuff are all in the same places and stuff, so just the textures of the fields and stuff are slightly different. Flaps down. Flops up. Flops up. Flops up. Using a Satec throttle prop mixture panel, and it's pretty old, and the pots in the throttle are pretty bad, so I have to put my finger in when I go full throttle, because if I go full throttle, it'll actually go just about to zero. So it can make for a seriously interesting takeoff. So I just as habit, I put my finger down on the down in between, so I'd never let the throttle go full in, and it seems to work fairly well. So, because I remember where was I at? I think I was in Microsoft Flight Simulator. I think I was coming out of Telluride, and I just shoved it full in, and the thing went right to zero. I went, what the heck was that? And I played with it, and so I had that problem. I wasn't smart enough to realize that I probably should have leaned the mixture out, and so I wasn't getting as much power as what I should have, and so I like barely got off the runway, and I wasn't making enough airspeed to stay in the air, so I ended up stalling it, and I slid down the right there at Telluride. It's kind of like a mountain, so I kind of like slid down to the river. That was my first experience. You know, it's kind of like, oh, that was kind of cool. I think it took me 3 times to actually get the takeoff from Telluride, but I finally figured it out. But at the time, I wasn't using VR because VR wasn't supported. I was using, I think I was using Track IR at the time, I think. Yeah, so we've kept a pretty consistent. 30 is like the bottom, actually, when I'm looking at it, because it actually will go up above 30. So this isn't too bad. Left's down.
Cessna 6 Bravo Golf, wind 272 at 8. Clear touch and go left, traffic, runway 21.
Say 1.
Clear touch and go runway 21 Cessna 6 Bravo Golf.
Yeah, so I'm almost 80 minutes in, and I don't have 100 drop frames. So this is dramatically different. And I just Flaps down. Just VR in general. Rarely, rarely will you not drop a frame. Just, you won't. And the fact that I am not only in VR, but I'm also streaming VR on the same computer. I'm quite happy, actually, because I had thought about going to a dual PC streamer, having a streaming PC, and I was just trying to work through the logistics of how you do that in VR. I couldn't figure out how you could do that, because normally you want to have another monitor set up so you can look at that. You know, you can look at your streaming PC, and it's kind of like, I don't know how to do that. Flaps down. I just don't. I don't know how to make that happen. So if you have a beefy enough graphics card, I think I can do this with one PC. Flaps up. Flaps up. Flaps up. Yeah, the other day, I don't know what was going on towards the end of my stream. Something happened. I don't know what it was, but it was like the wind would like come and go. So when I would come in for a landing, that airspeed would change by, wow, probably 10 knots, if not more. And oh, okay. Yeah, I just don't, I can't figure out how to actually do that. But one thing I know for sure is on X-Plane it's a non-issue. And if I can kind of get this working here on Microsoft Flight Simulator, then I won't pursue it any further. I just won't. Because it's just, as a VR streamer, you already have like more than enough things to kind of keep track of, and I think that would just be over the top. So, just my feelings. That's all. Alrighty, coming up on pattern altitude, back to 2,000 RPM. Get her lined up here on downwind. I'm right in the white arc, right at the top of it. So I'm doing about 85 knots at about 1,300 feet at 2,000 RPMs. But yeah, like I was saying, when I think it was 2 days ago. Yeah, I would come in for a landing, and I was ballooning like gangbusters. Oh, okay, okay. But it was like I had got the airspeed down enough to do the initial landing, but all of a sudden, like maybe like a gust of wind, kind of like says, "Hey, you're gonna fly again." Flaps down. Set 1.
Cleared for touch and go runway 21 Cessna 6 Bravo Golf.
Flaps down. Yeah, and like in VR, that would just be just difficult to deal with. I mean, at least as I see it, you know. Flaps down. Flaps up. Flaps up. Flaps up. Whoops. That wasn't good. Just trying to adjust my heading and heading indicator to the compass, and all of a sudden I clicked on the on the top part of the knob, and it basically set it to north. I went, that's not really what I had in mind. Trying to see if I got it lined back up where it should be. Yeah, it's right. There we go. I'm gonna do one more touch and go and then do a full stop landing. Pretty happy with how the streams went. Yeah. And actually, it's looking actually better. So at least it isn't all red. It's got yellows in it. That's cool. So that's awesome. Yeah, to see some of that scenery as I turn my head fill back in. That is annoying. Yeah. That is wrong. Yeah. Flaps down. And what I find more incredible is that, is it like only certain people that actually see that? Or,
Cessna 6 Bravo Golf with 272 at 8. Clear touch and go left traffic.
Set 1.
Clear touch and go runway 21 Cessna 6 Bravo Golf.
Or is the visual experience that different between two different people? If that's true, that's kind of crazy. But it also could be. Flaps down. Because you can actually see it. So I'm looking at that hard mead. If I turn my head, it's gone. I turn my head back, it's there. So it isn't like that isn't going on. That absolutely is going on. Got a little too much RPM here. I didn't quite overshoot the runway, but I'm pretty close. So this will be a touch and go and full stop next one. Flaps down. Flaps up. Flaps up. Alrighty, 500 feet. Straighten it up. Perfect. Here's the old runway there. Set 2.
Cranfield Tower Cessna November 256 Bravo Golf 1,100 feet to land.
Cessna November 256 Bravo Golf Cranfield Tower. Altimeter 29.9er, 2 wind 272 at 8. Make left traffic, runway 21.
Set 1.
Enter left traffic runway 21 Cessna 6 Bravo Golf.
Alrighty, back to 2,000. We're at 80 knots, 1,300 feet. I think I'm happy enough that I'm going to start joining group flights and stream it. I think that's what I'm going to do. Group flights are like so much fun. Flaps down.
Cessna 6 Bravo Golf, wind 272 at 8. Cleared to land runway 21.
Set 1.
Cleared to
Flaps down. Flaps up. I don't know why I did that. Must have had more flaps out than I thought I did. Alright. I'll back on the power a little bit here. Try to get everything lined up. Try to do a decent landing here. A little better approach this time. Yeah, we're looking way better. Flaps down. End of the runway, stand in the same place. 60 knots over the threshold. Start getting close, pull back on the yoke, pull back on the yoke, pull back on the yoke. Pull back on the yoke. There we go. Flaps up. Flaps up. Okay. Flaps up. I will do that. This taxiway's a little bit weird. It goes back. It's like it's more than a 90 degree. It's a little odd. Give a little right brake to... Whoops, that was weird. Hey. The shadows are back. That's funny.
122.855 Cessna 6 Bravo Golf.
So evidently that's what it was. It must have been when I taxied out this morning, that the sun wasn't visible, I guess, and it wasn't, and these blue dudes weren't casting a shadow, but they're casting a shadow now. Whoops. Set 1. Set 2.
Cranfield ground, Cessna November 256 Bravo Golf, taxi to parking. Cessna November 256 Bravo Golf, taxi to general aviation, parking using taxiway Alpha.
Okay, I'll do that.
Taxiing to general aviation, parking via taxiway Alpha Cessna 6 Bravo Golf.
Where's my dude? Oh, there he is. Must not be close. There he is. Okay. He didn't have his hands up. I was like, are you ready or not? Okay. Parking brake. Well, that was fun. That was actually a lot of fun. Alrighty. Avionics off. And this is what I don't understand. Because I'm doing touch and goes, I have no takeoffs or landings. Not sure why that's true. I would think it should be, I should have that, so my departure was, so I departed and arrived. Oh, but no takeoffs or landings. Interesting. Continue. Alrighty, nav light, landing light, beacon light, master battery, master alternator, magneto off. But they did fix that. It used to be I had to say magneto off twice for it to work, but now I can just say it once and it works. So, and I didn't change the command in voice command, in voice attack. I didn't change the command. Evidently they fixed something, so that's kind of cool. So, I think we're done. Yeah, this was fun. So, thanks for stopping by, Iowa. I always appreciate, when you come by. So I'm just going to wrap this stream, and I think this was a promising day. So, because I really didn't want to stop streaming Microsoft Flight Simulator. I really just didn't want to do it. I want to just tough it out. So thank you so much. Thank you so much. So, and like I said, I think I'm going to, and what do we end up with here? So we're down in frames a bit, because when I was in the pattern, I was probably above 30, 32, 34, somewhere around there. So we're down in patterns, but this is really what's different is, so I was in the headset for 102 minutes, and I dropped 104 frames. That's really not too bad. So that's good. So we are, I will say that it does look like the sim is headed in the right direction, but as a VR streamer, we got a ways to go. But I'm gonna keep on trying. So, alrighty, thank you much. Yeah, you guys all have a great day. If you enjoyed this kind of content, please click on the follow button, and we will continue to keep on trying. But like I said, when I have the opportunity to stream X-Plane Next Generation, you can be guaranteed my focus will be there. There is no doubt in my mind. So just waiting for the day, and it'll come soon enough. Thanks much, guys. You have a great day. VR mode?